look, I don't have a good transition into Amazing Grace. I talk too much about it. I mean, I glazed Amazing Grace too much.
アメイジンググレイス
Jesus Christ. You want me to add your profile as credit? No. I think you've given me enough credit as my moderator. Did help a lot. I didn't do that much. I just gave you some tips and improved Uta's lore and how it was written. But either way, last time we played Amazing Grace, guess who came back? Rinka did. Yeah, Rinka came back right after Kyrie and Shu snuck into the control room through the church and blah blah blah, and Rinka's back, and Sister Lily has become the villain. Who would have guessed that would have happened? It's almost like she's the only teacher we know, and we already know that the teachers are a bit sussy because they all know how to read. I'll add somewhere in the description that Ando helped me with the origin section and gave me some tips. Look, at least you can just credit me. If you want to credit me, you can just, you're already linking to my socials, so it becomes more justifiable. Right, but either way, enough yapping. I want to see how the story continues. Right, like I said, I glazed too much. I glazed this visual novel too much, and I just hope it does not disappoint me. So either way, let's jump right into it, shall we? Alright.
Click, click. ただいま12月20日木曜日7時30分
I built up that yawn. I'm awake. It's a bright and cheerful morning as always. Not. Ain't no way. As soon as I get up, the first thing I see is Rinka's body sprawled on the floor. I have no idea how she can possibly sleep that soundly on a single blanket, but it is my turn for the bed, and I wasn't giving it up. Guess I'll go wash my face. After finishing my morning ritual, including washing my face and brushing my teeth, I head back only to find her still sound asleep. Hey, Rinka, it's morning. Have to get up. It's not like she can go to school anyway, and I honestly want nothing more than to leave her here. You need to eat something. I'll get you some food. Bread. Yep. And do something about your sleeping position. I'd agree to let her stay with me, since her logic of they wouldn't think to check a boy's room for a girl made perfect sense. But she's definitely taking advantage of my hospitality. Wash your face? Yeah, what do you mean? Why are you questioning that? Do you not get oily skin? In the morning you wake up, you're fucking groggy as shit, and your face is all oily, so of course you have to wash your face. Oily skin. Ain't no way. But since she needs to eat, I go get her the bread she requested before heading off to school. Wait, you're still going to school? How does that work?
医学とは、美しいものの本質を探求、分析し、また芸術というものの定義にも及ぶ一種の哲学です。
There's just mutual understanding between Sister Lily, Shu, and Kyrie that none of them can bring up what happened. Because if either of them bring it up, they'll look like the crazy one. Despite everything that happened the night before, there doesn't seem to be any fuss about Kyrie and me being in class. Why would there be? No one else knows what's going on. Or I guess it would be more accurate to say I'm surprised they let us in at all.
神のデザインした自然こそが美しいのか、人の作り出した芸術的な美しさとは何なのか、総じて美という価値観そのものを考える学問ですね。
I get bothered about my nose, so I put snort water up my nose and blow it out in the morning. Yeah, I don't do that. My face gets it gets annoyingly oily every morning, plus every few hours or so. So I always have to wash my face. I do it in the morning, I do it after stream, I do it before stream, I do it so on and so forth, right? Sister Lily is teaching the class, same as always, as she's done across every timeline. What's going on? Did she somehow forget what happened after passing out? Yeah, that's the interesting thing, right? You know, I brought up that Sister Lily can't say anything about it, because she'll look like a crazy person, but, you know, she could just do the same thing that she did to Rinka, which is, you know, Bad Santa in Shu and Kyrie, or whatever. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if Sakuya did something, or if this is just part of Sakuya's plan. If she has one. Unlike the sister, I'm having a hard time keeping my composure. She's basically our enemy, right? Or all the adults in town, similar to those guys who threatened us are or are all the adults in town similar to those guys who threatened us our enemies? Where did Sakuya go? The endless parade of questions through my mind is making it hard to focus.
自分にとっての美、それを考えてもらうのがこの授業の目的ですから。
You live in Australia, I live in a cold room. My fucking aircon is on 24/7. Why don't we? The temperature does not it does not mean. Oh boy. After class, there are so many things I should do, ask about, or discuss, but I've already decided on my plans for the day.
どうすんの?
To help Yune with her recital practice. Regardless of how many times I've relived this December, this culture festival means everything to her. There's no lack of things to worry about, but I can't let that distract me from preparing for the festival. But also, Yune hasn't been acting like herself lately. I wonder why. She hasn't said one word since yesterday, giving the silent treatment to everyone, not just me. Despite being well enough to continue attending the classes, there's something about her that seems weaker than usual. Normally we eat lunch together, but today I'm all by myself in the cafeteria. And after finally recovering my memories, With my memories restored, I have a duty to tell Yune, with whom I share so much, with whom I share so much, everything. As the thought crosses my mind, I realize that a part of me is still holding out hope. Still holding out hope I can count on her as my rock. I'm sure she'll be fine. Maybe. Is she here? At least I never felt oily. I'm confused as hell. Sometimes I put water on my face. But that is when I clean out my crusty eyes. Ugh. Today's the 20th. We only have today and tomorrow left to rehearse in the chapel. Knowing Yune would never pass up this chance, I figure I should stop by to check on her.
Oh yeah? Shu-san.
Let's see if she remembered last night. Sister Lily. Instead of finding Yune, I come face to face with Sister Lily, looking as prim and proper as ever. What are you doing here?
私がここにいるのは普通じゃないですか。
She has a point. Cold without water. Okay, you didn't need to specify. But she knows what I'm actually asking her, so she's being deliberately obtuse. What are you planning on doing with us?
どうもしません。来たるべき時が来て、なるようになるだけです。干渉しないようにと言われましたからね。
So this is part of Sakuya's plan. Or I guess, the one helping Sakuya? Sister?
いえ、25日には平等に訪れるべき運命が訪れるだけですから。
The Sister Lily who scornfully threatened us the night before is gone, her demeanor calm and composed. It's less like she's trying to throw us off guard, and more like she's accepting things as they are.
何か?
I have so many questions, most of which I know she won't answer. I choose to ask her the only one I know she'll respond to. You know what's going on with Yune?
ユネさんですか? そういえば最近は伴奏を頼まれることもなくなりましたが。
Apparently, even Sister Lily's in the dark. If she's not here today, then is it possible she hasn't been rehearsing at all? I mean, like, you know, she's already done enough rehearsal. Yune. No answer. But I can hear noise coming from inside her room. The door opens and I step inside. I've relived the same loop so many times, and yet this might be the first time I've ever seen her in her room after school. Aren't you going to practice today, Yune? She doesn't answer. All she does is shake her head in response. You're still feeling bad? This time, she doesn't even nod or shake her head. She just gazes sadly at the carpet-covered floor. It's wood. If something happened, I wish you'd tell me. Besides, I got my memories back about the outside. Her downcast expression brightens for a moment, but her joy quickly vanishes. You know, you can always stop by my room, no matter how you're feeling. There's actually a lot we need to catch up on. She nods slowly before motioning me to leave. She's never acted like this before. It's painfully unnatural, and I hate seeing her like this. So, like, is she unable to talk now? Because she's been having trouble speaking, right? Throughout every time we loop back to her in the whatever space, right? And then her problems started exasperating as soon as she got her memories back. In this loop. So, like, can she just not talk now? Until something happens? She's gone mute. Yeah. There is always a cost. Yeah, but she's not going to stay mute forever. She has a...
Yo.
Just casually.
ほら、ことね言ってただろ。リンカパイセンの手がかり掴んだら教えろって。だから。
We definitely found something.
いやー、相変わらず綺麗だな、琴葉は。成長しても美人で、姉さん安心したよ。
It looks like we accidentally broke her.
おお。
She's so surprised that even Rinka's baffled by her reaction.
本物？キリエの演技とかじゃない？
Listen, I thought even I thought it was Sakuya trying to be Rinka, alright? So
いや、私ここいるし。偽物かもしれない。幻覚を見せられてるとか。パニクってんな、ことね。本物。そっか。帰ってきたんだね。
泣くなって。待たせて悪かったよ。
泣いてなんかない。リンカの方こそ私がいなくて寂しかったはずだ。
どういう強気だよ。
we still can't tell everyone about Rinka's return, but I figured it'd be best if we at least reunite her with Kotoha. After all, Kotoha's the only one here in town who never gave up on her.
にしてもどういう。
琴葉にはま、私から説明するか。
It's so Rinka gives the same explanation to Kotoha that I gave to Kyrie.
と、そういうわけだから、別にこいつとばっこりとかない。
そうだったんだね。にしても無事でいられたのが分かって安心したよ。
Kotoha bisexual. Ah.
むしろいい経験だったぜ。出て正解だと思ったくらいだ。
もうこっちがどんな気だったかも知らないで。パイセンの残したメッセージのおかげであそこにたどり着けたわけだしな。あ、そういえばあの壁画事件、リンカが指示したものなんだって。
壁画事件って風になってんのか、こっちだと。
Since we're on the topic, there was something I wanted to ask you about that. What made you ask Jack to be your messenger? All the remaining mysteries surrounding the murals can be answered by Rinka's sense of morality. What I want to know is what emotions led her to entrusting Jack with such an important task.
1年前、私はミューズを使った。琴葉は覚えてると思うけど。
うん、目の前で使ったね。
その時、私は琴葉やキリエのことを忘れた。ミューズの作用、記憶喪失だな。
I heard all this before, from Kotaha herself. We silently wait for her to continue.
だけどそれと同時に私は忘れたはずのアポカリプスのことを思い出した。
Huh? That's what I'm saying!
その時のことは今でもはっきり覚えてる。1年生の時懺悔室で忘れさせられたはずの使命感がどっと押し寄せてきた。
Rinka x Kotaha are like two opposites in a way. Yeah, but it's like Kotaha x Kyrie. She'd been so obsessed with exposing this taboo truth for what it was that she'd been dosed with Muse to kill her for curiosity. That's what happened in her first year at St. Aria. Then, during her second year, no longer as fascinated by the taboo, she had managed to get her hands on some Muse, which seemed oddly familiar to her. Although she lost her current memories, the door to her previously inaccessible memories swung open. Interesting.
この街はおかしい。外を知りたい。アポカリプス。1年生の私が忘れた記憶を2年生の私が思い出した。
Kyrie and Kotaha would be more like siblings. What?
どっちもミューズがスイッチになってオンオフ切り替えるみたいにな。もちろんあの地下室に入る方法も思い出した。だから私は速攻であの部屋に入った。
But when she did,
捕まりそうになった。だから逃げたんだ。で、店長のところに行った。
there's no way the town could sit back and do nothing knowing Rinka was messing with the taboo again. Much less breaking into that secret room. That was probably why Rinka was in such a hurry.
次はもうアウトだって最初にミューズを使われた時に警告されてた。だからこれ以上の延命はないって覚悟した。私にはもう時間がない。このことを誰かに伝えないとってさ。
At that point, she knew more about the town than anyone living there. But they were about to force her to forget everything. If she could at least pass the knowledge on to someone else.
でも誰に伝えたらいいのかわかんねえ。だから私は自分と同じくらい行動力のある人間に分かってもらえばいいと思ってな。
だから店長に暗号とやらを頼んだのかい？
ああ、だいぶ迷惑なお願いだったし悪いとは思ったけど、店長のことはギリ覚えてたしな。今考えたら紙に書いてばらまいてもらってもよかったかもな。ただあん時はあまり手段を考えてる時間がなかった。
In fact, they probably caught her shortly after. And this time, instead of erasing her memories, they decided to kick her out of the town itself. I think I get it. But how did you learn to write in the first place? Did you have some kind of reference material? The reason she learned to write is also why she left her message for someone who could read.
教科書なんか決まってるよ。
I'm coping because I like Kyrie. Yeah, I know. You know, I have this weird thing that I only pick my one lolly heroine and stay fiercely loyal to them being my favorite. Thoughts, even with multiple lollies. My thoughts are... you're a dumbass. Don't say you're loyal to one lolly character when you have... You are loyal to one lolly character in every visual novel you've played. So what's the point in being loyal to only one in each universe, right? She laughs like it's obvious.
聖書だよ、聖書。 リリー先生が持ってるだろ。
Uh-huh. But not just the Bible, right?
あれ一冊ありゃ十分だよ。
オーロラを飛び越えようとしたり、先生の聖書をかっぱらってきたり、授業なのに人と全然違うことやってたり。
My mind suddenly flashes back to a story Kotaha once told me. It seems Rinka's delinquency was rooted in the obsession of for the taboo she held.
聖書ならいやいや覚えさせられたおかげで内容も分かってるしな。あとは音を当てはめていくだけだった。
That's all, huh? But it couldn't have been that easy, right?
最初は地獄だったな。けどある程度の法則性さえ分かればだんだん読めるようになった。
Yeah. So she understood some rules. But then but then she realized that the rules don't actually matter, and there are some times when you have to break the rules. I think of myself in one of those universes, basically clones with different attributes depending on the story, like with fantasy chatbots. I have mage personas. Right. Kobe.
でも当時の語彙じゃあれが限界だったけどな。
The reason why the writing she left with Jack was so awkward is probably because the number of characters she knew was limited. Still, that she taught herself how to read and write Japanese from a Bible is impressive.
だから思った。私じゃなくてもこれを学べる人間はいずれ現れる。
聖書をかっぱらう度胸があれば。
そうそう。ただ文字が分かってもアポカリプスのことなんかには直結しない。だから私の役目はそれを伝える橋渡しになることだった。ちなみに私が想定してた第一候補はキリエだった。
私？
好奇心旺盛だし、別に私の真似をしてほしかったわけじゃないけど、外に出ようとするんじゃねえかなって。嘘、どうやって？地下に道。それは知らなかったな。つかそれって掘れば見つかるようなもんなのか？
なんか硬いの出てきたから一発でぶっ壊して降りたんだ。キリエ、知らない間にそんなことしてたの？だってことねえならやめろって言うじゃんよ。危ないもん。
キリエは私の想像以上だったか。
上から越えらんねえなら下からくぐるしかねえべ。
It ended up working out pretty well, honestly. Although she didn't escape during this timeline, it provided helpful information for other loops.
ただ裏道ってのが存在してるとは聞いてる。それが地下道か。
Even after I'd left Rinka and entered the town, there's no way she could have sat around just twiddling her thumbs. True, that's what I'm confused about, because she definitely didn't come. She definitely wasn't around in January, right? She must have done a lot of research into this great tour project. It feels good to have such a strong ally.
つか、そっから外に出れんのか？だったら最悪の場合は逃げれる？
Yeah, but we don't stop the apocalypse. But if we don't stop the apocalypse, then the town will be completely decimated. And we're here to stop that from happening. This chain of events will never end until we stop running away and meet our enemies head on.
なんだかすっかりリンカも別世界の人みたいだ。
中身は変わってねえけどな。まあ聞きたいことがあったら何でも答えるさ。
Me too, in fact. I feel like I owe you an explanation. I'm part of the reason why we're in this mess.
じゃあついでにさ、私からもシュウに聞きたいことがあんだ。
Sure. I mostly know what's going on, so shoot.
地下道の件もそうだけど、シュウはたまに未来のことを知ってるみたいに話してたよな。
Yeah.
あれ、どうして？
I said I'd be happy to answer any question, but this is a topic I'd been purposefully avoiding until now. Yeah, because how are you going to explain fucking time travel and loops and shit? The only thing I can do is be honest.
未来のこと？
確かに、シュウ君はリンカのことも知らなかったのに、暗号の内容には確信を持っていたし。
Which in turn led us down a pretty strange path of events. I have access to information that I really shouldn't under ordinary circumstances. Why? Well, you see, I'm actually Anna from the girl who jumped through time. That's the worst way to explain it.
お、今日はハンバーグか。
What the fuck? Hello. I'm back. I posted something in media share. It looks like I'm going to have watched the video to catch up with what I missed. Yeah, that is the problem with visual novels, especially if you're trying to stream them. Because if you aren't watching from the start, like tough shit, you're gonna have to watch the VODs. If you're talking about the VN, Edo has VOD channel in the Twitch VN. Nice. Or you could buy the VN. Yep. It looks pretty good.
うずうず。
今日もユネは別か？
今日は部屋に持って行って食べるらしいよ。どうしてだろう。
It seems like Yune's still not feeling any better. Since everything with Rinka is squared away for now, I should stop by and tell her about it later.
うずうず。うずうず。
What is going on?
さっきからうずうずしてどうしたんだよ、キリエ。いらねえならもらうぞ。
聞きたいか？
なんかうざいからいい。
待って、お前はこれを聞かないと後でちょっぴり後悔することになるぜ。
I didn't get the notification. Thanks, Twitch. Yeah, that's how it is. That's what my Discord is for. the notification on the Discord is a lot more consistent. Media share video can be watched in 20 to 30 minute increments. What? Hang on. What did you post in there? Right. An hour and 20 minutes? Bro. Looks like I'm going to have to join your Discord then. Yeah. That's the thing, though. I've never relied on Twitch notifications to see who's live. Hello, Jordan. Guess who's back?
「大した後悔じゃなさそうだしいいよ」
おいシュウ、話していいか？で、こいつらビビらせていいか？
Fine, but not so loud. Keep it between us.
よし、いいか幼児、ギド。耳の穴ポリポリしてよーく聞けよ。
あ、先輩それ焦げてます。
おお、悪いな。
つか、ハンバーグに焦げるもクソもあるか。
Kotaha and I both know well that Kyrie wants to say what Kyrie wants to say. Basically.
ここにおわすシュウはな、時をめぐるアンナだったんだよ。
None another. See, this is the problem. You cannot tell people. You cannot compare yourself to a fictional character. You cannot give. You cannot. How do I say this? You cannot give them the information of, oh, I have fucking time travel powers, and be like, I'm, and then compare yourself to fucking Anna from The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. Yeah. Fanfare. That was pretty loud. Turn it down a bit.
シュウが
時をめぐるアンナ
Of course, they weren't taking it seriously. Why would they? Maybe it's because you fucking... This is how you... God damn it, Shu. This is how you explained it to Kyrie, Kotaha, and Rinka in the same way. What did you expect?
なんでキリエが得意顔っていうか、シュウがアンナってなんだよ。
Push notifications have been sucking. I mean, they've always sucked. Especially since their fucking email notifications.
シュウは実は女だった。
You're focused on the wrong part.
今のは私たちが聞いた事実だ。
Listen, all I'm saying is I don't trust Guido. Alright? Yuji, I trust him. Bro has been with us this entire time, but Guido, we never see him after December 25th, alright? We never see him when the world is ending.
私たち
なんでも、シュウ君は今日に至るまで何度もこのアドベントをやり直しているらしく。信じてねえな、こいつ。
いや、シュウがすごいやつなのは知ってるけど、時をめぐるアンナって言われても。
Usually in a movie everyone's familiar with makes the explanation easier, and yet at the same time far more unbelievable. Exactly! See? At least you understand, Shu.
おいおい、こんなこと言ってるぜ、シュウ。
Well, I don't really need them to believe me.
なんでだよ、こんなシチュエーションめったにねえのに。
Kirio's eyes lit up when I told her the truth. But I'm not surprised their initial reaction is skepticism. I joined the Discord now. Congratulations, welcome to degeneracy. I mean, you became a degenerate when you followed, but...
もしそんなことがあったならロマンチックだな。今度の映画にいいんじゃないか。
おお、実はその構想もって違う。私はリアルの話をしてんだ。まあまあ、キリエ、いきなり言われたって 二人も何のことだかわからないよ。そうかもしんねえけど。
Get me away. Listen. As long as you aren't more degenerate than Dexter, you'll be fine. But actually, that's probably not a good thing, because Dexter will scare you away. But now that I have access to my previously forgotten memories, there's no way I can leave things where they are. I want to tell Yuji and Guido as much as possible. I'm sure we'll be laughing about this when it's all over. And even if no one believes me, at least I'll try. At least I'll know I tried. That's what Yuji told me once upon a time. Later after dinner. Yune. I make a detour to see Yune, who's stopped eating dinner with us, knocking on her door. Yune. There's no answer. In case you're wondering, I haven't said anything about you to Kyrie or the others. Now that we have Rinka, the final piece of the puzzle, our arsenal has expanded considerably. Which is partly why I really want to talk to her. Yeah, but that's the problem. I don't think she can talk. Was he doing my Tetsu the Train Girl game? What? Well, filled with an odd sense of foreboding, I decide to leave her alone for today and get ready for bed. Right. 12:21. 21:12. It's Monday, and the last day we can practice in the chapel. Last time I was here, we were raiding fast food. Yeah, that was a while ago. The two of us meet in the chapel, as we've done countless times before. But this time... Still not feeling any better, Yune? She'd been in low spirits all morning. It's very strange for her to go this long without speaking a single word. I wish you would tell me what's wrong. I can't help you if you don't tell me. Yeah, but that's the problem. Can she? Perhaps the strangest thing of all was her complete silence with not even a word of complaint. Her stubborn refusal to open her mouth makes me think this goes far beyond any ordinary illness. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Say that again? I'd be lying if I said I didn't have a really bad feeling about this. Yeah, you know, they ran out of budget. All right, they ran out of budget when casting Yune's voice actress, right? They didn't have enough money to have her voice the last lines in the story, all right? She's trying to speak, but I can't hear her. After a couple of repeated attempts, she begins slowly forming words as if lip-syncing. No sound comes out. Despite the fact that I can't hear her, I can understand her perfectly. My voice. See, that's the problem, right? Because the simplest way to explain that your voice is gone is to write it down. It's gone, yep. But they don't know how to write, so she's just been... she's like... trying to hide that she can't speak, right? Her confession was, of course, that she had lost her voice. You lost your voice? She has no other form of communication. This is worse than Ariel in The Little Mermaid, because at least she... Actually, I think this is similar to Ariel in The Little Mermaid, because I don't even know if she knows how to write. What? That mega yikes. I'm smart enough to know not to ask a stupid question like, what do you mean? She can't talk, speak, or communicate. And she can't sing either. All of those are symptoms of someone losing their voice. Really? Newsflash, the biggest symptom for someone who's lost their voice is losing your voice. Got hit by an ad? Damn. Ads exist on my stream? I can't believe this. In the past 2 months during that time, I got into chatbots. Look at Discord. You know, you getting into chatbots was your biggest downfall. How did this happen? And when did it start? Why didn't you tell me, of all people? And you just said not to ask stupid questions.
Oh.
Fucking... Thanks for gifting Kong a sub. Fucking... Oh, Dexter, you've gifted 69 subs. Nice. What a milestone. Why didn't she?
Go.
Thoughts seemed to trigger a seemingly unrelated memory. God damn it, Dexter. You could have had the 69 subs and you've ruined it with gifting Jordan a sub.
そうだ。だけど、シュウはまだ自分が悪魔と契約したことに気づいてね。
Is that bad?
当たり前だろ？悪魔の奇跡なんだから、何のリスクも背負わない方がおかしい。まあ、確かに。何らかの代償があった方が説得力はあるね。我はまだ何時から対価をいただいてないである。
What sort of payment? Like money?
お金ではないである。我がいただくのは、そなたが最も大事にしているものである。
My balls. I mean, my voice. Oh god. This can't be happening. I can't believe Kyrie's movie foreshadowed June's losing her voice. So many subs. Yeah. She never really talked to me about any of this. Because she can't? I mean, maybe she could have before. Yeah, okay. Perhaps because she knew more than anyone what was really going on. Yune, are you saying I muster up the courage to ask her point blank? You used your voice as collateral so we could time travel? Being penalized for resetting without saving sounds like video... Being penalized for resetting without saving sounds like video game logic. Yes, because this is a video game. As much of a video game as a visual novel can be. She nods silently, slightly, her face a mask of hopelessness. I feel awful and frustrated and like garbage. I've been focused so much on what I'd been doing, I'd ignored the risks of, in her clearly deteriorating state of being, forcing her to shoulder all of that alone. Off to slaving I go, but then back to a game that got me 3 copyright strikes last stream. What the fuck have you What the fuck have you been playing? Wishing you a good time, stranger. Look, I've gotten like copyright notices on my VODs, right, for visual novel music. That's usually only when there's lyrics and stuff like that, right? But Meow, what the fuck did you play to get 3 copyright strikes? Why? I can't bring myself to ask. In doing so, I'm admitting I'd failed her, and yet I have to know the answer. Why didn't you tell me? She simply mouths, "I'm sorry." She speaks without saying a word. By the way, is there a limit to how many chances we get to reset time? Any chances we get to reset time?
それは何回でもいいよ。
Why won't you look me in the eyes?
大丈夫。私が寂しいくらい。
Now I realize that she likely knew this would happen from the start. How did I not notice? Is it possible that I knew something was wrong, but chose to ignore it? Me too. I didn't know. I didn't realize this was happening until her voice goes, I guess. Well, that's the thing though. She knew that her voice was going to go eventually, right? She just didn't tell Shu until her voice finally went. I know there is copyrighted music in Fallout 4. I mean, yeah. Where is God in this VN? Do not make him worry. I mean, true. I'd taken her at her word because it made things easier for me, and now now look where we are. Fuck. Describing what happened as losing her voice is ruthlessly accurate. It's not like she lost it temporarily because of a cold or from overuse. Just like in the story of The Little Mermaid. Bro, you cannot reference the little... I literally just referenced Ariel, who lost her voice, lost her ability to speak in exchange for human legs. Her voice is gone for good. Well, if you're talking about Disney Little Mermaid, then she gets her voice back. Like, Yune's probably gonna get her voice back, right? I think. I hope. It'd be strange to romance a character who can't speak. All write. Or read. So, Yune paid the price that Anna in the movie never had to. And the reason why. This is a new pick. After all, even Adam and Eve were punished from eating the forbidden apple. Look, at least, look, I'll give them this. At least Eve is covering up so that I don't have to censor it. I don't have to censor the VOD. Go ahead. Censor it in the VOD. Chapter 12, Part 5, her voice. $22.12. Lower your expectations and just take care of the mute Yune romantically if you like her. You do realize, even if Yune couldn't talk, right, I would still pick her. But that's if she could write. She can no longer communicate in the only way she knows how to. Right? She can listen, right? She can hear what people are talking about, but she can no longer respond. Because in this town, no one in this town knows how to read or write, but she can't communicate anyway. If you truly like Yune. Look, all I'm saying is that, Dexter, I don't know why you're doing it like this. I guarantee, I think you know what happens to Yune, and just like in The Little Mermaid, she'll probably get her voice back somehow by killing Sakuya. Sakuya has become Sakuya is Ursula in the Little Mermaid, right? And and Shu is the prince, and Yune is Ariel. What the fuck am I talking about? I open the window and look up at the sky. The gloomy weather dampens my spirits even more than they already are. Ah. Just a simple, meaningless sound. It echoes through the silence. The echo of my voice. The sound of my voice. My voice. My voice. Kaguya Lover's War. If Kirie suddenly lost her voice and had no way to communicate, I would help her and take care of her. It is Lover's War where one has to die. Don't worry, MC, you also don't have a voice. True! Yune will always remain buried in my memory. I could still hear her voice in my head, even if that's no longer possible in real life. Yune, can I come in? When I enter her room, I find her sitting there looking more or less like she usually does. Aside, of course, from her inability to speak. Can I sit? It's fine. At least, I think that's what she says. If only it was possible for you to write. It's no use bringing it up since she's illiterate. Right now, she doesn't have any other means of communication. Except... she bites her bottom lip before laughing. She seems to be giving that laugh everything she's got, as if to try and cheer me up. She desperately pantomimes, likely trying to tell me something. It's almost Christmas. If we don't get our act together... Nod, nod. A night's passed since yesterday, giving both of us time to cool down. The result for her is this forced show of courage, although it's honestly pretty painful to watch. I'm pretty angry at myself for letting this happen to her. As I suspected, her condition is far beyond losing her voice. When her throat is sore, she's stuck in this peculiar inability to vocalize at all. When your throat is sore. As I suspected, her condition is far beyond losing your voice when your throat is sore. She's stuck with this peculiar inability to vocalize at all. The more I think about how seemingly impossible this is, the more I realize how many similarly impossible experiences I've lived through. I need to ask, you knew all along this would happen, and chose not to say anything, right? She doesn't give me any kind of response. Not that she can't answer, but more like she's choosing not to. She's still Yune after all. You told me there wasn't any limit on how many times we could reset the loop. But that was a lie, wasn't it? I wanted to ask you before, but the fact that we're here is in this sub-reality means we have a chance, right? Wouldn't this be similar to emotionless sex? No!
うん。
You said I had 7 more chances left last time.
あれは、あんま気にしないで。今から7回。
They can still make noises. I mean, yeah, Yune can't make any noises now. Breathing noises like panting. What the fuck? Emotionless sex applies no emotion. Yune still has her emotions. Alright, just because she can't vocalize them doesn't mean she doesn't have them. Are you sure? Muted sex. That's a better way to put it. The number always seemed to be changing, giving me more and more chances, while all she said was how much she hated being lonely. At some point, I just kind of went with it, assuming everything was fine. That resetting the loop as many times as she did would be alright. If eating the apple and redoing the past is equivalent to original sin, then what's the price? What do you value above all else, Yune? Yune's voice has always been practically synonymous with her identity. Her suddenly losing it can't be just a coincidence. Something like the apple of life, it doesn't come without certain conditions. There is a price to pay, a cost required. I give her my personal analysis of the situation, checking to see her reaction. Now that she is one and the same with the original Yune, she must bear the burden of her past decisions. Does the price get high depending on the number of timelines or their lengths? She doesn't answer. It seems like knowing she can't change anything, she's already given up. It is similar though, voices can have emotions. I mean, yeah, we got to answer finally. But there's more to it than that. This is all my fault. Faced with the undeniable truth, she frantically begins waving her arms. I can tell how strongly she disagrees with me, but this is the one thing I'm not backing down from. I'm glad I noticed, at least. I mean, it would have been strange if I hadn't. We're in the same boat here, after all. It was unbelievably selfish of me to encourage her the way I did for my own benefit, only to let her bear the consequences herself. Yune takes out a piece of paper and a pen, as if trying to find some way to stop my monologue. She draws a person shaking their head, a picture of a girl getting crushed by... A picture of a girl getting crushed by a rock. Probably Yune based on the hairstyle. Excuse me? Her pen flies over the page. There's a cartoonish sketch of a young girl taking a bite of an apple and getting a stomachache. Is she trying to tell me that it's her fault? Since she can't write, drawing might be the only form of communication available to her now. Okay, I forgot about the drawing part. So she can communicate. It's just in the worst way possible, because the problem about art is that you have it's very interpretable, whatever the word is. Before long, tears begin spilling down her cheeks. They drip onto the paper, soaking it. She's desperately trying to say something, but her simple drawings might not be enough. Seeing her apparently blaming herself for not being able to speak only makes my guilt and remorse worse. I've screwed up so much, and every single time I've turned to you for help. I had no idea you would have to pay for all of this. She draws something else. I read it as her saying it's my fault for keeping quiet. But the bond between us runs far too deep for me to simply accept that. I'm sorry for everything, Yune. I know there's no way you could ever forgive me. Yune had to pay the price for all of our actions until now. That's the honest truth of the situation. I have no right to ask for her forgiveness at this point. I've just been living my life without suffering any consequences. But I still need you. I suddenly find myself holding her hand in mine. Like many times before, I find myself not wanting to leave her. We're not done yet. There's still Sakuya to deal with, and Christmas Day itself. Even if there's no more chances, we have come so far, and an unprecedented wind is blowing in our favor. I strongly believe that, with Yune and me working together, another miracle might happen. That's why I'm going to be your voice moving forward. I'll say whatever you need me to. If she can no longer vocalize, and if she can't write, there are still ways I can be her voice. I'll take on the responsibility of knowing what she's thinking and saying it. It's the way I could begin to atone for the grave sins I've committed. After listening to my proclamation, Yune bashfully averts her eyes. Dummy. I can almost hear her mutter. Yes? Then, as if struck by something, her pen moves over the page even more quickly than before. Despite majoring in music, she's still a St. Ario student, and she's able to create easily readable drawings no matter how quickly she sketches. How do you major in music when you're the only person who does music? Imagine trying to run away and having to communicate with her. I mean, I'm sure there are ways. Let me see. Christmas is coming. Nod, nod. And then this means to keep fighting? Nod, nod. Come to think of it, Christmas is in 3 days. And as long as Sakuya is around, there's no way this will end without a fight. I mentioned it before, but I got my memories back. Well, then that was odd. So I'll tell you everything. My memories, I never had access to them before, including every single timeline and the interludes between. Yeah, that's crazy. The interludes were also canon. Memories that made me realize coming here to this town was never a mistake. I originally crossed over the Aurora to get here in order to stop the apocalypse from happening. The cut of audio. Well, the thing is that if I keep recording for long enough, OBS shits itself and fucks up the audio, so I have to constantly switch the audio channel for the game. And I misclicked to Opera. So the cutoff in audio between the game was a lot longer. It's kind of like karma that even after I lost my memories, my goal never changed. It's pretty hard to free yourself from fate's design. We'll deal with the apocalypse, get Sakuya back, and go from there. Now, let's get your voice back. Let's kill Ariel. Let's kill Ursula. The loss of Yune's voice is a consequence of the apple, unrelated to anything else she's done. So even if we finally make it through Christmas this time around, it won't come back. Although there's no saying it will be this way forever. It'll be this way forever. Who's to say a miracle can only happen once, right? That's what we've been fighting for. In the end, I'm sure we'll be blessed by amazing grace once more. Yeah, but we still haven't found out the color of their attribute. What is the color of Amazing Grace's attribute, huh? 1, 2, 2, 3. Next. Yeah, right.
ここか?
Yeah, sure. There is good.
じゃ、こうやって。
You're too good at this, Kyrie. Almost title drop.
こんなもん朝飯前だぜ。
They title dropped, but they didn't include the subtitle. On that note,
撤去完了っと。あとはこれをどうにかすりゃいいんだな。
bombs! We can't roll the credits then, exactly. Yeah, can you handle it? It's 2 days before Christmas. We're hard at work over the weekend disarming the Brookers that have been planted around town. So basically, these bombs are what will cause the most damage, meaning we have to dispose of them ahead of time.
実際に見てきたみたいに語るんだな。
Correct. Because I have. Too many times.
週は時をめぐる週だからな。
ほんとかよ。全然科学的じゃねえし、にわかには信じがたいぜ。
Brinka, being far less naive than Kyrie, still seems skeptical about my secret. But since we share the same goal, it's not a big deal.
今日にはもうその爆弾とやらが仕掛けられてるのかな。
Assuming everything's the same as always, then yes. The locations have stayed fairly consistent. Of course, Sakuya is naturally aware of my past strategic attempts. If she plans on taking things more seriously, all she needs to do is plant more fakes to restart our cat and mouse game. It's just... She said she wasn't going to interfere this time. All I can do is take her at her word. She's definitely the one who's been trading blows with me. Assuming she doesn't retaliate, then all we need to do is disarm those bombs.
どうしたユネ？聞こえなかった。
今ユネは喋れないってシュウ君が言ってただろ。
ああ、いや、にしてもさ、かすれ声も出てないから。
At least Sakuya is not going to help the person this time. Yeah, that's the interesting part, right? Because like Sakuya said, she's not going to intervene, which means she's not the one doing all of this shit. She's just helping the person who does it. But then the person who does it doesn't know about the time loop shit. So then how did Sakuya start helping this person? Because it has to be someone who's... No! it's gonna be fucking Gedo, isn't it? He hasn't played any prominent roles yet, which means that, you know, Chekhov's gun and all. He's gonna end up being the one trying to start the apocalypse or some shit. It hurts for her to talk, so it's better if she rests her voice for now. What was that, Yune? Yep. Yeah, I see. She said since the bombs are scattered all over town, it'll be faster if we split up. Like, the person who is trying to start the apocalypse and the person who ate the apple with Sakuya have to be different people. I think.
なんで今のでわかんだ？
わちゃわちゃ手動かしてるようにしか見えなかったけど。
After spending time with Yune, who can no longer talk, I've gradually learned to understand what she's saying just by looking into her eyes. I guess we can read each other's minds. See, that's the thing, right? In Guido's route, he destroyed his artwork. Right? So he probably has a similar mindset to Kyrie's in the fact that of destruction being beautiful. I don't know. Sakuya couldn't drug the MC by herself as well. Right, yeah. There was someone else with Sakuya who drugged Shu.
それじゃあ実際の処理はキリエに任せて。
We should focus on finding them for her. Which leads us to where we are now.
にしてもすっげえ構造してんなこれ。
Oh, yeah?
はあ、信じらんねえ。ありえねえくらい緻密に組み込まれてる。
Kyrie is examining one of the snowbrokers she disarmed, oohing and ahhing over the craftsmanship. Knowing Kyrie the way I do, it's not surprising by her reaction. I'm not surprised by her reaction, but if she didn't make these, then who did? Think you could make one?
いや、私でも無理だ。いくら時間があってもできるかどうか。
I mean, like, who do we know who is good at making shit, right? I mean, the first time we see Guido, he makes a fucking chess set. So, like, he's good with his hands, in the same way a craftsman would be. They're all good with their hands, right? They're all fucking artists and shit, but I know what I'm saying. I'm sure there are plenty of bombs on the outside that are smaller and far more powerful than these. There are only so many things you can get here. To someone like Kyrie with limited materials and technology, a bomb like this would be impressive. But also, seeing Kyrie's reaction to the Brooker in her hands makes me confident it was constructed here in town.
んで、これが爆発したら雪が舞い散るんだろ？
I see. You mean snow or snow-like powder? I remember the glittering white flecks that fell all around us like snow amid the dancing flames. The two opposing elements painted the horrific carnage in fantastically vivid colors.
なんて言えばいいのかわかんねえけど、強いて言うならあれだな。芸術的だな、この爆弾は。
That's her ultimate conclusion on the Snowbrookers. Kyrie without current bombs. Yikes. I might have felt similarly if I hadn't seen its destructive power firsthand. But that smell, is it paint? Underneath the smell of soap, I smell something that reminds me of being in the atelier. It's a familiar scent that's never made me feel uncomfortable before. All you need for a bomb is a container and fuel, right? Even the ice sticking to the nearby ground is starting to look suspicious. I have a strong feeling we'll need to check somewhere else. This is the fourth one at the school, so this should be all of them.
次は琴音のいる商店街だっけ？
Yeah. Kotaha Yune and I have split up in our hunt to find hidden brookers. Rinka's back at the dorms since it'd be too dangerous for her to be seen out in public.
あ、シュウくん、こっちこっち。
And the one person who could make a disguise for Rinka is the enemy. As soon as we arrive at the shopping district, Kotaha waves us over.
この裏にあったんだけど、これでいいのかな？
That's perfect. Another Snowbrooker.
取り外すぜ。
He peels back the bag and disarms the bomb with a practiced hand. The mechanism doesn't seem to be complex as a machine, as complex as a machine, but it's not something you want to mess around with too much. What she's doing is actually incredibly dangerous, and yet it doesn't feel that way based on her carefree attitude.
ちなみに、これ一つが動作したらどうなるの？
There's 2 bombs located here in the shopping district, which is enough to completely destroy it.
とんでもないね。
Is that the first time another character has sworn, other than Shu? Shopping stalls are nowhere near as sturdy as a school, for example. 2 bombs are more than enough to level this area and cover the ground with fallen snow.
もう一つはあっち。これで全部かな。
The shopping district should be safe. However, it's still too early to call this a victory of any kind. As long as our enemy is free to change their mind at any time, we have to keep our guard up.
咲夜が？それは本当なの、シュウ君？
I hate to say it, but yes. Although I still don't know her true motive. Does she really want to destroy the town? Does she feel obligated to do so? That's the thing, right? She does not want to kill the people in the town. But Guido does? Whoever's placing the bombs does. I'll stop saying Guido until it is Guido. I just think it's Guido, and like, I'm too meta about it, right? The only reason I think it's Guido is because meta. Or is this town just collateral damage?
私はその咲夜って子知らないけど、ユネと同じくらいのせい？
Nod, nod.
じゃあ昨夜を見つけたら話を聞かないとね。
He seems most likely. Yeah, that's the thing. He hasn't played a big enough role in the story yet. Absolutely. No matter how much Sakuya wants this, Hine and I will always fight against it, right? I said a similar thing about Jack, but we've already seen his importance in the story. All right. We still haven't gotten Guido's. And if we can't come to an agreement, then she'll become our literal enemy. As much as neither of us want to believe it, even Yune is starting to accept the reality of the situation.
Nani? ケツがかゆい?
She angrily says that's not it at all.
爆弾見つけたんだろ? 案内しろって。
Yune is in charge of the Christmas tree. Yune is quick to find the Brooker, which is in basically the same place as it usually is.
取ったぜ。
Thanks. Should we head back to the dorms? First and second Civetta, the academy, the shopping district, and the Christmas tree. We got rid of most of the bombs, which only leaves the dorms and the park as potential assault spots.
なあシュ。
ん？
これ一個だけ試していいか?
Where? Her tone of voice is lighthearted and playful as she holds the Brooker she just disabled in her hands. By test, you mean you want to set it off? That's what I mean about OBS fucking the audio shit. Fucking the audio shit, yep. That if she talks.
So.
Is she fucking nuts? Despite my warning earlier, there's no stopping Kyrie, of all people, from being interested in bombs. I'm sure she just wants to set it off in a controlled and safe environment. See how it works.
芸術的ってさっき言ったけど、これだって誰かの作った一つの作品なわけだよ。私としてはちゃんとその真骨頂を見てやりたいんだよな。私も見てみたいな、シュウ君。何かのヒントになるかもしれないし。
It's only because Kyrie dissected one of the dummies once that we dissected one of the dummies once that we discovered. It's only because Kyrie dissected one of the dummies once that we discovered them for what they were during the Christmas party. Huh? That makes sense. These bombs are really powerful though, so let's move somewhere else.
ここら辺ならいいか。
And you're sure this? Are you sure we won't get hurt?
火薬量を減らせばいいんだろ?
You can do that?
多分。
With that said, she begins using the tools she brought with her to fiddle with the Snowbrooker. Just watching her seems way too dangerous.
そんなビビんなくても平気だって。火がないと起爆しねえもん、これは。
After fiddling with it for another 5 minutes,
できた。中の火薬を9割方捨てといた。
this is the bomb at 10% power. I hope that's low enough.
じゃ、3、2、1。
He lights the Brooker and immediately hurries away. We quickly follow. We get to a relatively safe distance of 10 meters from the Brooker when suddenly...
うわっ！びっくりした。あんなに火薬を減らしたのに。
The explosion was so strong, I felt the blast of wind against my skin. It was enough to send the plants and trees in the vicinity flying. So with my new Utobot, I have hyphens between some words. That is needed, right? For some words, yes. Also,
あ、これが。
following the Brooker's blast, it begins to snow. In stark contrast to the explosive force of the bomb, the snowflakes drift lazily through the air like angel feathers.
確かに綺麗だね。こう言ってはなんだけど凝ってんな。でも確かに悪くね。
Yune rolls one of the white flakes between her fingers. It doesn't seem deadly in and of itself. Hey.
Hmm?
Do you think that that trick you told me about will actually work?
ああ、うまくいけばだけどね。
Hey, Kotaha?
何かな。
There was something I needed to double check with Kotaha. I heard once before that you'd set some kind of a trap to catch the person behind the apocalypse red-handed.
ああ、驚いたな。そうか、そんなことまで知ってるんだね。
なんだそれ、私も知らね
Nod, nod. You probably never put her trap into motion in any of the previous timelines. But if we work together, maybe we could put it to use.
犯人を見つけるための罠、確かにあるよ。それはリンカからアポカリプスのことを聞いた1年生の時に仕掛けたものだ。
OBS going nuts. I don't know why. You mentioned it to me at some point.
え。そんなの私も聞いてないんだけど。
リンカにそのことを思い出させたくなかったからね。密かに打てる手を打っておこうと思って。
I meant behind most things under heading. Like in the heading appearance details, I have hyphens behind every word, like eye color, hair, etc. I'm sure it's fine. What kind of trap is it? I'm assuming it won't expose the culprit's identity on its own. And it's pretty hard for me to imagine the kind of trap that that can stay in place for years. Did she plant somewhere around the school? Did she plant somewhere around the school?
ごめんね。これは誰にも言わないって約束になってるんだ。
Yeah, I figured as much. It's basically the same answer she gave me once before. She quickly continues.
それに私が何を仕掛けたかをここで話してもその成功率を高める結果にはならない。むしろ下がるかもしれない。
あ？
もちろんみんなのことを信用してないわけじゃないけど、だからこそというか、ほら知ってて知らないふりをするのは難しいでしょ。
She's right. The advantage you get from pretending not to know something from the start is something I'm painfully aware of. Fool your enemy first, deceive your ally, or something. It's deceive yourself, you mean. As Kotaha talks, not only does Yune listen quietly, but Kirie does too. For someone who's usually as loud as she is,
知らないふりっつうか、実際こいつら嘘つくの下手そうだしな。
or people knowing would make it worse. Exactly. It just takes one person to leak it, and then the whole plan goes to shit. Listen, Yune is like the last person you to concern yourself about, considering she can't even talk. She said you'll want to talk. Honestly, I'm in agreement.
ああ、でもキリエはうまいか。
天才女優だかんな。
Lying is one way to put it. That what she's truly talented at is playing any role thrown at her.
ただ確率を高めるやり方はある。どちらかといえばそっちに協力してほしい。
Tell us more. It's clear she's taken a different approach to diffusing the situation than I ever have. That is why I want to trust her, thus focusing on improving our odds in this gamble.
一つ聞きたいんだけど、シュウ君。アポカリプスというのは必ずクリスマスに起こるんだよね。
Every single time. That's why I suddenly remember something Kirie told me once. Because it matches with the culprit's aesthetics.
わかった。なら問題ない。
With that said, Kotaha begins explaining what we're going to do.
一つ目、さっき言ってた爆弾の除去を徹底的にやること。
Well, of course.
これはつまり、そう、向こうの描いた絵図を台無しにしてやるのが重要で、相手の策を全て潰すことが私の罠を動作させる最低条件だ。
As she speaks, she looks far more formidable than I've ever seen her. One might say her trap never worked before because it had never been executed properly.
でもよ、アポカリプスを失敗させるって意味ならそこで目的達成じゃねえのか？
いや、それだけだと逃げられる恐れがある。それじゃあダメなんだよね、シュウ君。
Unless we get the evidence we need to stop them directly, then there's no point. And we'll have to relive this December yet again. You'll have to. No one else will. We have to foil their plans and figure out who they are. This won't end unless we talk them out of it.
私の張った罠というのは犯行を止めるというより、あくまで犯人を導き出すためのものなんだ。
This conversation is getting increasingly hard to follow. Yune appears to feel the same way too.
一つ目って言ったからには次があるのか？
そして二つ目。
Kotaha holds up 2 fingers before continuing. The next thing she says catches us like an ambush.
キリエ、フォトレンジャーのラストに爆発シーンを入れよ
Huh?
う。もう撮ったじゃん。
That's what I'm saying.
もっと派手なやつがいい。例えば、そのアポカリプスで実際に使われるものくらい。
Why?
どんな提案だよそれは。
I don't think CG exists in this town.
どうかな、キリエ。使えそう？さすがに元のままだと強すぎるからぐっと火薬は減らすけど、演出としては使えるな。じゃあ使おう。今回の映画のラストシーンに。そう言うけどな、ことね。 上映はもう2日後なんだぞ。撮るより編集する方が大変。私も手伝うからさ。これが最後の詰めになるかもしれないんだよ。もう映画はクランクアップしてんだけどな。主演女優の頼みなら断れねえか。ありがとう。それにほら、勝手に雪の降る演出も入るし、ロマンチックだと思わない？
I'm not sure what's gotten into Kotaha, but she's requested a far more spectacular final explosion. She's even repurposing one of the Brookers we swiped. She's not much better than a common thief. I have no idea what her plan is, but all I can do now is trust her. At least we've managed to successfully destroy all of the Brookers, save one. How did it go, Rinka?
全然ダメだな。チャペルからの階段も封鎖されてるし、キリエの作った裏道とやらもぶっ壊されてた。
Ain't no way. It must have happened while we were bomb sniffing. While we're bomb sniffing. Yeah? Wait. Yeah. Once the sun went down, I asked Rinka to try and sneak back into the underground room. But that proved to be more difficult than expected.
その地下に咲夜って子はいるんだろ？見つけたかったけど。
I don't know for sure, but probably. There's a bunch of security camera monitors down there, too. If we could get in, we'd be able to keep an eye on the prime spots around town. Honestly speaking, I didn't expect Sakya to completely vanish off the radar.
そりゃ街をぶっ壊そうなんて考えてるやつなんだろ？見つかったら捕まえられると思ってるんじゃ。
Yune says she's not on board with that, and I agree.
ちょっと待て。シュウはその子を実行犯だとは思ってないのか？
She's an accomplice, not the perpetrator. Just based on the evidence, it must be her, but I know her well enough that something feels wrong.
でも仕方ないってことはないのか？根がいい子でも、ほら、あいつにそそのかされた結果だったら。
I guess you're right. But even with that said, I don't agree. It has nothing to do with any kind of emotional attachment. Sakya could have done away with me at any moment if she wanted to, and yet time and again she let me go free for reasons I don't understand, despite knowing I was acting against her. I won't know what's going on until I have a chance to ask her directly.
それができりゃって話だな。ところで、
She is undoubtedly part of it, but I don't think she's a bad person. I mean, she is the one who tried to save everyone from the explosion in Kotaha's route, so... Kirie's route? I'm not sure. Sakya's route? I mean, she did help build the boat.
なんでユネまでこの部屋に？
Right. She said she's lonely when she's by herself.
今までも一人部屋だったろ。
If she wanted this, she could have stopped them. Exactly, right? She could have easily killed Shu at any opportunity to... Right? We still don't know her full motive to why she's doing what she's doing. And the only explanation I have is because she loves Shu. And that's also the reason why she doesn't want to see Shu, because she thinks he hates her. He says not being able to talk and being all alone in her quiet room for hours on end is hard.
日に日に通訳の精度が上がっていくな。
Huh? You want to sleep here? I don't know, you know.
そうそう。ただでさえシュウは雑魚寝なんだし。
You're not allowed on my bed either. You know, he looks clearly disappointed. I can't say no to that face. Normally I'd have told her to go stay in with one of her girlfriends, but right now I'm the only person she can communicate with. It's not that weird to let her stay with me, and I have no ulterior motives behind sharing a bed with her. Therefore, fine, but just for today. Damn, this game really is trying to ship Shu and Yune together. Or tie him up to keep him away. Yeah. She immediately perks up almost too quickly.
3人で相部屋か。シュウの寝床は洗面台だな。
So that how they were sleeping him on his bed and her on the floor. I mean, Rinka and Shu supposedly were like alternating between sleeping on the floor and sleeping on the bed, right? Nope, you're going up to Kyrie's room.
はあ
There's definitely not enough room for the three of us. Use that ladder and you'll be up in a jiffy. I mean, safe for you. Listen, Shu, the only reason there isn't enough room is because you don't want Yune to sleep in the bed with you.
私を厄介払いする気か。
I have no idea if anyone's looking for you, but since it's night, you should be safe enough for now.
お前らまさか私をどけて2人で。
Don't go that far, alright? It's not that far. Rinka has been thrown out. Yeah, Rinka's been thrown out so Yune and Shu could have sexy times. Fuck choosing between Yune and Sakuya at the end of the game. We're only going down Yune's route. Absolutely not. I'm not planning on doing anything like that. Yune doesn't know what we're talking about. I hope she stays that way.
いいや。見てたらなんかお前らの邪魔しちゃ悪いなって思うし。
Rinka. She slowly reaches toward Yune's throat before massaging it gently.
どんな事情か知らないけど、ユネのことだから自業自得なんかじゃないんだろ。もし何か必要な薬でも治療でもあったら言ってくれよな。クリスマスの後になるかもしれないけど。じゃあな、また明日。
She flashes us a brilliant smile before disappearing up the ladder. The two of us are left in silence. It seems like Rinka's always had a soft spot for Yune. And knowing that, it feels like she's handed the role of Yune's bodyguard over to me. Huh? Why is she staring at me like that? Is she still thinking about Rinka's offhand remark about becoming a man? Even though I know she was teasing us, I try to read Yune's expression, the lingering awkwardness almost stifling in its intensity.
リンカパイセンが来た。暇すぎて下にとつろうかと思ってたんだよ。徹夜でホラー映画見ようぜ。
She is so loud that you can hear her through the ceiling.
ったあった。夜なんだからちょっとは静かにしろお前は。
I should close the window. Oh, never mind. He has his windows still open. Kyrie is as loud as ever. She probably doesn't want to let Rinka go, which works for me. Although you shouldn't invite yourself over to someone else's room just because you're bored. I mean, that's Kyrie's shtick. She does that all the time. Now then, I have grown used to Yune's silence. So why are we just sitting here, staring at each other, both of us blushing like crazy? Let's change the subject to something more impersonal. You can take the bed, Yune. It's a little small, but it's probably the same as yours. Huh? No, we're not sharing the bed. I meant you take the bed and I'll take the floor. Nod, 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 nod. I feel like I'm just digging my hole deeper and deeper. It's not that I don't enjoy being alone with Yune, but this is maybe too much. She sits on the bed before patting the sheets next to her. Are you sure? Nod. We sit side by side on the edge of the bed. My bed. If we're sleeping together, this would be a big deal. But we're just sitting like on a bench. Do you want to talk? Nod, nod. If that's all she wants, then that's easy enough. I guess she really meant what she said about feeling lonely. In her current state, I can only imagine how long the nights are alone with her thoughts. Why am I so casual about Rinka? I guess it is a little weird, huh? No, I'm not as old as you. I'm about as old as you. But since I originally met Rinka on the outside, I assumed we were the same age. As we saw no reason for things to change when we realized she was older. The truth is, our 1-year age difference doesn't bother me at all, especially since we met outside of a classroom setting. It's weird. Maybe, but I'd feel even weirder to act all polite about her now, around her now. Yeah, she might think I'm being sarcastic and get mad. Kind to Yune, but not to Rinka. I mean, like, you know, Shu and Yune have spent multiple timelines together, so, like, it makes sense. I chuckle and Yune smirks in response. Despite her inability to speak, we're able to carry on a conversation through gestures and facial expressions alone. It's like a super quiet sleepover. It's probably also because of how much time we've spent together. Plus, Yune's being far more expressive than usual, probably compensating for her inability to speak. I find it cute the way her expression constantly changes in reaction to my words, but I can't think about it too deeply. After all, it's basically my fault that she's forced to do any of this. Yune? Okay, sorry. Anytime I feel even a touch of self-pity, Yune instantly gets cranky. I guess she can read my face as well as I can read hers, forcing me to admit defeat. You're trying to say the only one to blame here is yourself. I know. She gives me an exasperated look, as if to say people who say I know are the ones who don't know anything. I understand her perfectly, but I pretend that I don't. What do you mean? What we were talking about before? The basement? Shake. You mean Sakuya? Nod, nod. I think back to our conversation earlier. Suddenly I have a light bulb moment. Are you thinking about what Rinka said? Nod, nod.
でも仕方ないってことはないのか？根がいい子でもほらあいつにそそのかされた結果だったら。
She said this like 10 minutes ago. You didn't need to flash back to it. She was referring to Sakuya's behavior. I understand where she's coming from, but I know why it's bugging Yune as well. That's right. We need to talk about this. I'm sorry I got distracted by everything else going on. Don't worry. I can do this. I just need a little bit of extra courage to get the words out. She smiles wryly at me. Like she can read my slightly tense expression like a book. Not that I don't want to talk about it. In fact, it's important that she knows. It's the reason why I'm here in this town. Why I'm together with Yune right now. Rinka mentioned it before. The second coming of the apocalypse to this town on Christmas isn't natural. It's like in the Bible. There's a serpent leading someone here in town astray. If the town is basically the Garden of Eden, then that would mean the serpent, the devil. That would make the serpent the devil himself. A parasite threatening a balanced ecosystem. A drop of poison in a clear lake. The serpent, for whatever reason, wanted the apocalypse to visit this town, and thus needed an extra wisdom to get the job done. Thus the temptation of the forbidden fruit. Since serpents can't hold a brush, they cannot create art themselves. That's what Rinka meant earlier. It's the serpent's way to make it happen without getting their hands dirty. Yeah, that's right. Someone from the outside. But unlike me, they kept that fact to themselves. Right. It has to be... It's Guido, Sakuya, and someone else. And it has... Surely it's the headmaster. Right? Because we already know the teachers are sus. And who would be more sus than the... like, the most powerful person in this town. AKA the headmaster. Right? Something like that. No one would think you were an outsider unless you painted yourself as such. Also, the serpent would be somewhat familiar to the people here. No wonder they blended right in. Yune listens to me quietly without reacting. Maybe she doesn't see what I'm getting at yet. This person usually isn't around, instead managing the town's affairs from the outside. Naturally, this town can't survive without supplies from the outside world. But the folks here are trained not to think about any of that, or the existence of the people needed to help run the Grand Tour project. Except thanks to the stars aligning, just so they had a chance to come here 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Before Yune began attending St. Aria, and when Rinka and Kotoha were first-year students. That's when this all began. The Serpent's mission was to tempt someone into sin, so they would act as the destructive force necessary to bring about the apocalypse. And the one... Oh, okay. If it is the headmaster, then are you telling me that he chose Sakuya and Guido well, maybe they only chose one or the other, right? They chose one of them because they have a different answer, or they chose a different picture, right? I am grasping at straws here, because we already know, right? The headmaster gave the students like a test before reacted weirdly to that name. Yeah, right? He reacted weirdly to the name, which means that he probably knows about the headmaster's name, right? And then you've got the headmaster issuing out a test, or like the interview thing, right? Where he gave 3 pictures and had the students all choose one. And the students that chose a different answer to the consensus were picked to do this kind of thing, right? God damn it. Because, right, we know Shu also felt differently to the other to the other students about that certain picture, right? Of the I forgot what it was, but he found beauty in the picture or whatever. Jesus Christ. Good job, OBS. Okay, so it's the headmaster pulling all the strings. Giro's the one ending the world, and Salkia is the one doing something. Man, I'll go into more detail later, but in other words, they needed someone to create a work of art. So the serpent had to be selective. They snuck in past the Aurora in order to find that special someone with the perfect stylistic sense. The serpent's mission was to slip into town and find the artist who could incite the apocalypse. Also, I'm sure the serpent did their best to look as harmless as possible. The only one who saw them for what they were would have been the one tempted off the path. Even Yuji and Kirie didn't see them as anything out of the ordinary. Have Yuji and Kirie met them? Yes, even you have, Yune. Yune's eyes grow wide with shock. I guess she still hasn't figured it out yet. Who is it? She seems to be asking. I have to answer her. I have an obligation to do so. Yes! Huh? I can't catch my breath. My heart's beating erratically. Just hearing the name once sent me into convulsions, and I passed out. This is the first time I'll utter it myself. Just then, I feel her left hand softly grip my right hand. Yune, don't give up. Through her warmth and steady gaze, I feel like that's what she's trying to tell me. Thank you. I can do it. I feel my chest bursting with renewed determination and resolve. Faced with the reality that we are bound to meet head-on. This serpent, who is behind the second coming of the apocalypse. His name is... The sudden sadness that descends on me causes me to falter. The St. Aria Academy principal. Soichi Watarase. Oh, we got his full name! Because we've only gotten Watarase, right? Unless I'm capping. But we finally got the name drop. And we skip all the way to Christmas. Again, he panicking. I mean, it makes sense, right? there's a reason why Sakuya got rid of his memories. Because he has... That is interesting. He has ties to Watarase. Right? I mean, wouldn't all of the... Fuck, man. Once again, asking more questions than answering. But, I think we're gonna have to end it off for today. We're gonna have to continue on next stream. But, fuck. The next question is, what can I use as the thumbnail? There wasn't many things I could use. There wasn't any CGs. He must have known his name and who it is. No. I'm gonna have to leave it on a... I mean, okay. It's not that much of a cliffhanger, right? A bigger cliffhanger would have been ending it off before he said the name. But, like, we all knew it would be the headmaster, right? Hopefully I can watch next stream. I hope too. But if not, I mean... You'll catch the VOD. But until then, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, a follow would be appreciated. And if you want to support me even further, you could always subscribe. Or you can just wait for Dexter to gift you a sub. But until then, well, I guess tomorrow I'll be playing more Amazing Grace. And who knows, maybe... Actually, no, I probably won't be finishing it tomorrow, considering that we still have Sakuya and Kirie's, we still have Sakuya and Yune's romance routes, right? Should I publish them right away? When I finish the rest of Uta's greetings, should I publish them right away? Or do you want to look at it first? I mean... It's... You don't need me to look at all of them. Just if you aren't sure of a reading, I'll look at it, right? But and I comment wall and vid like always. Yes, I appreciate it. But if you, But until then, I mean, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and I will see you guys again next time. Bye-bye.